Just how are commuters being protected amid the unrelenting taxi violence, and what can they do to stabilise the industry? Well, let's ask the City of Cape Town's Mayoral Committee Member for Safety and Security, JP Smith. JP, thank you so much for joining us. It's heartbreaking to see commuters desperately last night trying to get home in the pouring rain, trying to hop onto whatever form of transport they could, but also terrified of what that commute was going to bring for them.
Absolutely. Last night, Metro Police had to resort to escorting Golden Arrow buses to various destinations along routes where it was assessed that there was risk, and that we do with happiness. But it's not a sustainable intervention to have to escort all the buses and every night. We've got a two-pronged effective response from the city to this. The one side is obviously to do random stops and searches of minibus, taxis, amapelas, and suspicious vehicles. I've been out with the staff doing so, and that has also led to some arrests. And last week, our CCTV cameras picked up a white vehicle shadowing some of the taxis. Metro Police stopped them. We found three men with 3 firearms and a huge amount of ammunition. So we're anticipating that was shooting related, the incident yesterday in Langa. So the city alone in about 5-6 days has made 5 arrests relating to this. And hopefully the criminal justice system will now do its share and start getting results, because it can't be that you have all these assassinations and shootings and no consequences within the criminal justice system. This morning we've had no incidents so far, and over the weekend we had no incidents. But yesterday, sadly, there was, as you indicated, violent shootings in Langa and on the N2 between Borchards Quarry and the airport turnoff of great concern. The second thing, obviously, we do is impound rogue or pirate taxis that are off route, as this fuels much of the violence. And you can go and see the pound in Maitland and Ndabeni. Those pounds are chock and block full. So we are really doing from the city side the maximum we can. Provincial government has invoked Section 921 of the Act. That will possibly take effect tomorrow morning, and then the city, will assist in enforcing those provisions.
JP, historically, the taxi wars have been going on for years in Cape Town, as long as I can remember. What's at the heart of the current violence and fighting?
Ostensibly, there is a conflict around the Paarl-Bellville route and who the ownership of 6 permits is between, Kata or Kadeta. And whether the association owns the permits or the individual license holder who move between the mother bodies. I think what is at play here, however, is something more sinister, and that is after having dismantled much of the rail industry, certain role players in the taxi industry are now trying to destroy Golden Arrow buses. The violence has different agendas that are being played out. And I fear that if the taxi association has an exclusive monopoly on public transport, the consequences for commuters and the city will be terrible. So we are doing our best to protect the other public transport operators from the intermittent violence.
JP, what else can you do to protect commuters apart from...
It seems primarily targeted.
Sorry, JP, we had a crossover there. What can you do as the city, apart from escorting commuters back and forth and buses? Is there anything else you can do? What role is SAPS playing?
So SAPS is obviously the majority partner in this. Sorry, my phone is intermittently ringing and I'm having to kill the calls. SAPS is obviously a majority partner. I mean, we have, 3-4% of the staff resources of the enforcement staff in the city is controlled by the city. The rest is controlled by SAPS. And those investigations have to happen. It cannot be that you have all these assassinations and killings and violence and no arrests and consequences. That is a spectacular failure of crime intelligence and investigations and prosecution. And those levers sit in the hand of national government. We were happy to see Minister Balula here, but I'm afraid those interactions have not resulted in consequences. In fact, what was evident on Monday morning is that the taxi associations were acting in bad faith, and that's why I think the MEC must pursue his measure. And what must also happen is that national government must now remove the role played by these associations and other bodies from the national legislation. At the moment, membership of them is required to get an operating permit. So you are entrenching them in this process as a gatekeeper and unfortunately also as organized crime syndicates to some extent. And this can't carry on. So they must be removed from the legislation, and a relationship directly between the applicants and the taxi owners and the regulatory authority must be established, as we do with all kinds of other permits. There's no reason to make them other bodies and the associations this legislated gatekeeper. That entrenches much of the problem we have.
All right, that's City of Cape Town's Mayoral Committee Member for Safety and Security, JP Smith. Hopefully the DA-led government here in Cape Town and national government can work together to try and mediate some kind of peace accord between the associations. It's really got out of hand and people are struggling to get to work and just earn a daily wage.